And then you come to God and you feel stuff. There's physical feeling that you have when it comes to God. And then with other stuff, you really have no feelings. It's just boring. Honestly.
That's true.
That's it.
Amen.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I'm really good friends with everybody here, especially my man Jeffrey. So Jeffrey, I got a question for you. You seen how we used to roll before, you know what I'm saying? And and now that you see, I just wanted to ask you, like, it's for like motivational purposes for me as well, you know what I'm saying? And like motivational purposes for everybody. Like, what's the difference you seen, or is there any difference that you've seen recently between, you know, me, David, because you know me and David, you know, I don't know about my brother or my sister, you might have a little bit of idea of her, but like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, yeah, just...
Yeah, I remember those days, you know, we was lost. I won't say we was lost, you know, we was partying, we were just doing like what young kids do, you know.
Not too much details.
But I see a difference now. When I first met Ali, I'm not gonna lie, he prayed for me, and I felt different, you know, like I felt empty. I felt so empty. And then it was for New Year's. I came over their house, and I felt empty. My heart was empty, and then I just felt full. You know, I felt the love of God. I never felt love, you know. Like my life, it been rough, you know. I'm from Guatemala. I came here when I was 12 years old.
Jumped the border.
Yeah, I had to do that, you know. But it was an adventure, you know. And I've been through a lot. And they know I've been through a lot. I almost died 3 times. I got stabbed. I was in car accidents. I've been in jail. But now I changed. My mom, she's a Christian. Her mom, her side of her family is Catholic. Well, she's the only one that changed her life, and I see her like she's my role model. She's my best friend. You know, I'm here because she prays for me. Amen. You know, God listens to a mother's prayers. You know? God listens to a mother's prayers. And like my man's, his mom is Christian too. Yeah. They good friends with my mom. They talk all the time, you know. Yeah. And yeah, any other questions?
Truly, bro. I appreciate it, bro. Love you, man. All right.
No, he didn't tell you the difference. So.
The difference you see between, you know, me. I know you gotta see something.
I see. He got fat a little bit, you know, he used to be skinny. And but I see a difference in everybody. I can tell how everybody changed. Jacob, I see how life is going good for them. Back in the day, everybody was lost, and I just seen it, but I see how we all changed for the better, you know, for the better.
Amen.
I'd like to add to that, like, while we was just being reckless and stuff, you know, I dropped out of school, you know, I was into a lot of stuff, you know, I've been through a lot myself as well, but now, like, God in my life, like, I just want to motivate you guys, like, God being in your life is like, I'm back in school now, you feel me? I'm going to start on Monday. My relationship with my parents has never been like this, you know, like I could barely talk to my dad back then, like for more than 10-20 minutes I had to leave the house because I couldn't stay with him. My mom never gave up on me, but like she loves me, but my relationship with her was not, you know. But now we have like this great relationship.
Amen.
With my mom. I also have a great relationship with my friends because back then all we did was stupid stuff. Now we could do other stuff. My relationship with David, we went off strong, but then we started drifting apart because how different our lives was, but now we live together, you know. And
Amen.
we're pursuing the same things. The same thing with my brothers and my sisters. They, you know, I was so distant from everybody, and then just turning to God made me. It was allowed me to just to be back to my family, you know. And so you know, I'm just trying to tell everybody, you need to have God in your life.
Amen.
Because
Amen. Come
He
on.
gonna fix what you're missing, you know, for free, you know.
I want to say something. We all young here. We all really young, and I feel like we gotta talk to the young people, because we the ones that gotta change this, and we can tell the world is lost. The world is lost, and everybody gotta hear about God. We all believe in God, but not everybody got God in their heart. You know what I mean? And we gotta talk to young about God, because
People are lost out here.
people are really lost, and we gotta pray for the young people.
Yes.
We really do.
Yeah.
Because we was lost. I know we was really lost, and God changes. It was like a switch, you know, like a little switch.
A whole 360, man. Hey, I got a question for Brian too. Like, can I go? Yeah. Hey, all right, B-Lo, face the crowd. Hey, how lost is the generation nowadays? You know, the people we used to hang out with, like, you know who I'm talking about. You know, like the you know the people we hang out with. Yeah. So, like, we're really lost, and I just want you to describe how lost people are and how important Jesus is for their lives, man. Come on.
Man, like, this generation is really lost. Like, I see a lot of people lose their lives in seconds. Like, this, especially this year, my friend, I say my friend's life. One of my friends got shot, and like, I took him to the hospital, like, as soon as possible. Got him to the hospital, and like, I made like a promise to God. Like, I was like, cause we were at a party. I was like, God, if you save my friend, I promise you, I'll quit drinking, quit doing this. Like, I know I felt bad. I did it like again, but I stopped completely now. This year too, I lost one of my friends to this drug called fentanyl. Like, so like, yeah, he overdosed. He was a close friend to me, and like, this generation it's just like we think we're invincible. That's what we think we are. We think we're invincible. Like, nothing can stop us. But all it takes is one pill, one bullet, and we're not here no more. We out of there.
Yeah.
And you're in the worst place in the world.
Yeah, and then you can't like I always tell my mom, like, if I ever die, I don't want to die fast. I want to die slow, so I can have time to pray to God, because I don't want to. Wow. I don't care if I'm in this world broke, but I just want to, because I know when I die, I'm gonna be rich. When I
Yeah, come on. Spit it out.
Yeah, bro. Come on. Yes, go on.
Alright. Like, tell them about how lost you know what I'm saying? Not only about Carlos and Dennis, but like, there's so many people out there
Like,
want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. Like, this road is messed up. Like,
hey, Catherine,
Hey, so after all that you witnessed and all that God has done in your life now, tell me, how do you see Jesus using you now?
yeah, I feel like Jesus can really use me. Like, I really love music. Like, I have a couple songs I made. I haven't dropped any because I'm trying to work on an album, but like I'm trying to like help the youth, because like the youth is so lost right now, especially in these times. Like, everybody wants to be, sees him, oh, I want to be like him when I grow up. Like, nobody wants to be themselves anymore. Nobody wants to be doctors. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody just wants to sell drugs, get money the fast way.
Yeah.
Like, that's why like there needs to be role models. There's not that many role models no more. Like, everybody wants to do what that guy's doing, because he sees them on Snapchat flexing $20,000-$40,000. Like, that's why everybody, like, that's how I feel like the generation is going.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so
Wow.
much. Wow. Isn't it amazing how God uses these hardships to just stir us up. You know, I mean, when we see all that's going on in the world, doesn't it motivate you to want to do something, you know? And it's like when God calls you out and he chooses you and he says, hey, I have a plan for you. I've redeemed you. I mean, it's a wonderful feeling to know that, wow, I have a purpose. I can use my trash life to bless somebody.
Amen.
You know?
Amen.
It's hard to believe, it's an oxymoron, but the reality is that's the truth. I think also what's hard is that we don't think God can do it sometimes. Sometimes we really doubt, can God really change me? Can God really change someone like me? I think this other person's just been, you know, they were born a goody good two shoes. There's no way he can change my life. There is a way, and he can make a way. Yeah, okay. Paul, I want to ask you a question because I know you got to witness and just see a lot of change in your brothers and your sisters. Tell me how you have seen how God has impacted your life just by watching and seeing other people.
I got saved 4 years ago. I was 14 years old when I got saved. And when I got saved, you know, I wanted to completely change my life. But, you know, the people around me were like crazy. You know, my friends, they all do drugs. They all, you know, some of them are dead too. And it was really hard to be, you know, a Christian. So like they always tell me, let's do drugs, let's do this, but I never wanted to do that. Or like, this is my brother right here. You know, he did a whole bunch of crazy things. You know, and this is my sister too. And my brother, they all did crazy things. So it was really hard, you know, it was really hard to follow God when everybody around me was doing crazy things. When everybody was just keep messing up, and when everybody, you know, it was really hard for me as well. So, you know, I just still stick with God. And I remember 6 months ago, when I heard that, you know, Ali told my dad that my sister got saved, and I was surprised. I was like, what? I thought she's been saved the day she was born or something. You know? I was surprised. I was like, and then when I, you know, and I heard that, you know, David got changed as well, and I heard Z got changed. So I said, I have to see this for myself. So I remember. Then I remember I just saw them how they were all worshiping. Like this guy, this guy, the way how he worships, I'm just like so surprised. And my sister Jaka, the way like when she reads her Bible and she just prays, is like I'm a pretty religious person. So. And so I was really grateful what God has done. You know, He's delivered my brother.
Amen.
He's delivered my other brother, my brother as well, and my brother. And you know, He's delivered all of them. And I was like, and now it's really easy to get close with God since I have a beautiful fellowship.
And Paul, I just wanted to say to you, God is really proud of you for you sticking through everything. You know, like I know we're not the best examples in the world, and you're the best example for us, Paul.
All right, that was awesome. I mean, look at what God's doing with each and every single person. I mean, listen to the stories that you're hearing. This is a testimony of God, you know? God did that. They didn't. Okay? Okay. All right.
Hey, you want to go around just to ask someone? Okay. Yeah. So we actually
okay, guys, let me have the mic.
Oh, okay.
Each of you will give you 3 minutes. Okay? You have to speak. Okay? And then finish it.
Ask some questions?
Yeah. Just go.
Alright. So.
Talk about what? My life? Jesus. All right.
I think the biggest change. I think the biggest change that I could talk about in my life is growing up. I had a lot of hate. I hated people. Hated a lot of my family, a lot of my friends. Hated like my parents. I hated Ali too. You're welcome. It's all love. Yeah, I mean, if you have met me before, like, honestly, a lot of people, if you have met me before, I just didn't like a lot of people. I had a lot of hate, and I didn't really care much for people. I kind of did whatever I want, whenever I felt like it, doing my own thing. And the thing with me is when I stick with something, I really stick with it. If I believe in something, I'm going to go all the way, you know? So, for me, when God really revealed to me, he gave me, like, something I was lacking. And I was lacking love. I really was lacking that. And forgiveness. Especially for the people who hurt me and stuff like that, I didn't forgive those people. I hate them to the death. There's been times where I thought to myself, like, if I ever had the chance, like, I would kill these people if I had a gun or something like that, you know? Like, that's how much hate and how much unforgiveness I had in me. So, and then when God, like, revealed himself to me, now, like, I literally love every single person ever. Like, Amen. All the people that hurt me right now, if I think about it, like, I just love them. Like, I pray for them all the time. And I'm like, God, like, just, I love everybody. And I even asked my parents, like, I asked for forgiveness. I asked everybody that I've hurt for forgiveness. And I just told them that I love you and everything like that. And that's, like, the biggest part of me that, like, now, anytime when someone says something mean to me or says you're this, you're that, I don't care. Like, I'm always a happy, positive person. And, like, I used to be very easily tempered. Wow. Very easily tempered. And now you can it's really hard to get me angry. You would have to do something. But yeah, like, God has just completely changed me in the way I used to be. And now, like, I'm just I don't know. I know for a fact there's nobody in this world that could have changed me except God. You couldn't have told me anything. Nothing could have convinced me. I don't care if you give me $1 million. Like, nothing could have changed my mind. And just by God putting his light on me, just changed my mind, my everything.
Like I said earlier, you know, I got saved when I was 14. I'm 18 years old right now. And, you know, 4 years of the life, you know, I've been saved. Like, you know, a lot of people around me were not that good. And I remember it was really, I tried to worship, you know, I didn't feel God's presence. I tried to read the Bible. I couldn't understand it. And every time I just felt disconnected. So I remember when I was 16 years old, I went to Ethiopia, and I was just feeling really empty. And my mom took me to a church, and this guy started prophesying over me. I didn't even know what the word prophecy meant. Right? So, I didn't know what that meant. He said, I'm going to prophesy to you. I said, okay, whatever. And after he started prophesying for me, he's saying, God's going to use you. You're going to serve God. I was like, I'm going to serve God? I was really surprised that he said that, because I thought, how can I serve God? Then the first time, you know, I felt like a lot of peace. I felt so much peace. Amen. And I remember when I came out, when I came back to America, I felt like God was talking me to go to Bible college. And it was still hard because the people around me weren't good. I remember I told my sister I wanted to go to Bible college. She says, Paul, you're going there because it's easier. So, it's been, so for probably till 16 and 18, you know, I've been keeping a close relationship with God. You know, it's probably been the best thing in my life. And, you know, God can deliver any type of people, no matter how deep they are. Because, you know, keep praying for the people that you want to deliver, because God's faithful and He'll totally deliver.
Yes.
Let's go.
So, I grew up in a family that was really close to God. And, you know, when you're a parent, you do the most to bring your children also close to God. But truth is, that's not a genetic thing. You know,
Come on, let's
each person has to find God in their own way.
Jesus geht an.
grew up in a home where my parents, my brothers would pray multiple times a day. And I never felt that connection. And I can't even say like years after, I thought I had to be in a certain place or around certain people to even get like a certain vibe that's like close to God. But recently I found out that all the connections that I had in my life only made me more disconnected, no matter how much I love those people, how much I love those things, how much I love those songs, like any little thing just made me so disconnected from the only thing that I needed connection from. And it was difficult, you know, to disconnect from those things, especially when you're attached to everything that makes you so miserable. And it's funny because throughout doing all these things and being with these people, you ask God, like, why am I so miserable? Like, why are you doing this to me? And blah, blah, blah. But once you allow that sacrifice, which you think is a huge sacrifice, and you let go of those people or you let go of those things, that's when you make like the connection that really matters in your life. And I couldn't find purpose until recently. And I'm not gonna lie, like I met everybody at a really weird time when everybody was still going through like their transition. And I couldn't change that soon. And I was like, why'd you guys like change so soon? Like I should have met you before or something. But really I believe that God put me in the right place and at the right time.
Amen.
Ali, I'm so grateful that I met you. And like, I don't know if you remember that conversation. We were at Baskin Robbins super late. And only recently have I like felt and understood what you were saying to me that day. And I just want to thank everyone for being here. And today was, you know, I'm probably the only Indian here today.
We love you!
But I feel like we're all united, and I feel like we're all here for the one thing that matters. So God bless everyone, and thank you.
I kind of already talked about myself and the things that so Babu. I really just want to talk about the change that God is doing around the people that I love the most. Because sometimes, you know, you're going through a bad day or whatever, and you're like, is this real? You know, is Jesus real and stuff? But then you're like, whoa, I was praying for you like a couple months ago, and you completely changed. And God like answered that prayer, right? Yeah. And so through that, I'm able to stay strong because God is working through everybody here and everybody that I'm around. And I pray that God continues to work into, you know, all the people that I love and those that I come into contact with. I'm praying for my teammates now, and which I never used to do anything like that. You know, I just prayed for myself. Now God is speaking to me to speak and to pray for specific people. And you know, one thing is growing up, my little brother Justin, he God-fearing guy. He literally will go to anybody and start telling them about Jesus. And for the longest time, I was like, gosh, like, why can't I do that? But I wasn't really, you know, I didn't know God specifically. I didn't know him, how he applied to my life. And I know he just walked in. B, come here.
Come on, come on.
B, you gotta come up here.
Come on, man. Hey, you think I'm playing, bro?
But one thing I wanted to tell you guys is this past weekend I went down to Bloomington, and I used to go down to Bloomington to party all the time, and I used to take him, I used to take other people with me, and all right, and this time when I went down, I went with 3 friends, and it was amazing. Like, I never knew that there were so many people that are young that are on fire for God. Yeah. But I was so blind from that, right? And it wasn't cool. But I was so grateful going down, hanging out with him and a couple of my brothers. And We were just talking to people, having a good time. You can have a good time being a Christian, okay? You can have some fun, being with your friends. And it was amazing. We were down there, and I met some awesome people that are believers. You know, sometimes when you're young, you're like, whoa, only the old people believe in Jesus. You know? No, the young people believe in Jesus too.
Yes.
And we just got to reach out to them. You know? I want to encourage everybody here, just, you know, you have a lost cousin, you have a lost friend, or anybody, just say some words of affirmation. One thing I learned is, tell people you love them. This man, Ali, always tells people he loves them. You know, the barber, the person at the store, and that, you know, Satan's throwing things at them, right? If you tell somebody you love them and Christ loves them, that means a lot. So let's continue to do that, because there's a lot of people out there that need Christ. And I'm so grateful to be on the right team. And let's win. We already won. We just need to keep getting those points.
Hey man, I just wanna thank God for the changes we went through, and we here today, because we here for a reason. You know, we're not here for. I want to thank God for everybody here, especially Ali. God put Ali to come here to talk to us. God was like, Ali, go talk to these kids. Change their life. Change their life. And I know you did, you know. And I thank God for Ali. Really, though. And I just feel happy to see everybody talking. This wasn't very conversation into talking about God. You know, we can talk about God all day. You know, that's the best thing. That's the best thing, really. You know. But I'm grateful to God that we're here today. We talking about Him, how good He been to us, even though we being bad, you know. He loves us, even though we did the worst. We did so much bad stuff. And He loves us, you know. That's real love, endless love, you know. And I'm so happy for everybody. Really, you guys don't know how I feel right now. Like, I feel full. I'm like, wow, you know. I'm just thankful, really. And yeah, God bless everybody, because I'm so happy. I see like a bunch of like, we all mixed here, you know, but we are sons of God, you know, because God put us in this earth for a reason, you know. God put us in this earth for a reason. This is how I feel myself. I feel like He had me on a leash, you know. I'm like a little puppy. He was like, okay, Jeffrey, do what you want. But then it was a point you're like, okay, stop. You gotta go this way. And I gotta follow God. And I feel like we gotta I feel this is how I feel. I feel like we influence. We are a big influence. Cause the young kids nowadays, they see rappers, they wanna do this, oh, they got jewelry, they got this and that, they wanna do that. And we can do the same thing, because God, if we pray to God, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a judge. He can give that to us. Really, you just gotta do is just pray. Pray to God, talk to Him. You know, like, I'm just happy, really, you know. I'm just happy, I'm just trying to say that, you know. God bless you.
I don't know really to talk about.
Come on, bro, you got it.
Like I met Ali like a couple weeks ago. I was at the crib, and Jordan texted me like, "Do I want to come to like a Bible study?" And I was like, "Bro, no, like I don't want to do that. Like, no." Because I think it was like a Friday, and there was like some girls that wanted to chill, so like.
Come on, John. Post it up. Come on, we love you, bro. Come on. Post it up.
So I really wasn't feeling it. I was like, nah, bro, I'm about to go chill with these females. I knew it was going to be a lit Friday, like, because, you know, boys, you know what we were finna do. So I was like, nah, I'm cool. But like, something told me I was in the crib and I was just sitting there looking at my sisters and I was like, I got 5 sisters, so I was just thinking like, what I'm finna do to the other girls, I don't want like another dude to do to my family, you know? So,
come on! Yeah.
It caught my eye pretty much, and I had like got my phone as fast as I could, and I was like texting to him like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna come and everything. So I ended up going and I met Ali and everybody, you know? Paul and them, and it was like great. Like I felt loved because at my career I'm always like depressed and always like ready to go do something crazy with myself, like some crazy stuff, like drugs and like go fight people and all this crazy stuff. So like I just felt loved there and I felt great. Like talking about Jesus, I felt good. Like I had like a feeling that I was meant to be here. All the times I be like, I'm not meant to be here, so I'm gonna take it out with the drugs and everything. It was crazy stuff, but like now I'm at a 75% check. Like I feel better. Like I'm still trying to get.
You're good,
like,
bro. Come on.
Yeah. I'm still trying to feel better. Like I still talk to a lot of girls, which I'm trying to stop. It's just like except for drugs, I'm addicted. So like I'm trying to quit that. I noticed a few things at the house. Like I used to be like a big troublemaker. Like I was always involved in trouble, and, like doing crazy stuff. Like. So it felt good to hear, like 2 weeks ago, my mom say that she loved me, because I don't really hear that a lot. So, she told me that, like, she seen a change in me and everything, and I told her I was, like, going to church and Bible studies and trying to go to Bible studies because I had work and everything, but she just told me that, like, she's happy for me, and I felt great, because I want to be a leader in life. I don't want to be a follower no more. So, God brought me to the right place because I didn't even want to come here, like, because it was a Thursday. He told me it was Sunday, so I'm like, why are we leaving so early? I would have plans with females. I thought what Z said, like, it's females everywhere. Like, you're trying to let them get to your head right away. So I just thank God and my man Jordan for like bringing me here, and thank you all y'all for listening. Thank you for meeting these wonderful people right here. I barely know him, but I'm gonna get to know him. Like,
Amen.
So, love y'all. Thank you.
So this, I would say this during senior year, I got really connected with Jordan right here, and my name is Justin or Baharu Ellers. That's my brother. This is the family right here. But yeah, I got during senior year, I got really connected with Jordan, and we just, I don't know, throughout the year we just really bonded, and we were on fire for God, and during the school year, and I remember several times Jordan inspiring me, wanting to go out and talk to homeless people about Christ, and one of the times, this is when Ali just recently came from, you told this story, you did? Okay, yeah, but just from my perspective, huh? I was gonna tell that. But one of the first times Ali was over here in America, and this was the first couple of weeks, and Jordan was like, hey, let's go out and tell homeless people about Christ. I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, whatever. Okay, we can do that. I'm just gonna follow you. You're big enough that I can just stand behind you, and you know, they're not gonna try anything. You know, you'll take care of them. I'll just chill. We'll go out and talk to them, and we'll see what happens. And we're like, okay, we'll go pick up Ali, because, you know, Ali, I don't know, in our heads, we're like, Ali just knows how to talk to anybody. He'll know how to take care of these homeless people. He'll know how to tell Christ to them. And so we go get him, and we're just walking around, and Jordan sees these two people just hanging out, and we run up to them, we start telling them about Christ, and we're like, okay, we need to get him something, give him something to eat. We start praying, and we're like, okay, God, we want to see healing, and out of nowhere, this is one of the first times like I'd experienced like just God's power just touched somebody right there. The homeless man just started manifesting, and I was freaking out. I was like, what the heck? Like, what is going on? You know, Ali touches the guy's head. He says, don't touch my crown, like in a real deep, crazy voice. I'm like, oh my gosh. I look at Ali, I said, is this when we leave, or like what happens? You know, what happens now? Like, what are the process? What's the steps? You know, I'm still behind Jordan. You know, I'm not doing anything. And then what happens is, eventually we're like, okay, God is going to do His healing on him. We're going to give him time. And not thinking, I go ahead and ask the guy for directions because he's homeless, he just wanders around. So I'm like, you know, he'll know where to eat. Now realizing he's still manifested. And so the guy is just, I mean, tripping out. I'm asking for directions. I'm very confused. I'm like, who am I even talking to? You know? So having a guy like Ali, when you're trying to do ministry or you're just a young Christian, is just really impactful, because then he sat us down and he told us what happened and talked us through the steps. And so, you know, a guy like Ali is very impactful in young people's lives. Because, I mean, he's been in our position, and he just knows how to connect with us, and he knows how to inspire us and get us motivated about Christ when just, you know, regular Sunday service won't do that. He knows how to apply it to our life. He knows how to just energize us and to just really know how to bring that fire in us. And I remember Jordan was going crazy. He was like, man, we got a lot to learn. I'm like, yeah, we do. Like, you know, how do you go past this and not want to learn more when you experience God's power like that? And so, and then going into IU, I was kind of feeling really disconnected. You know, during my senior year, I was really connected with Jordan and Ali, and I was like, God, like, give me some Christian friends. And I ended up meeting. I was just going through the library one day, and I had been praying about this. And I was like, God, I really want to find community here. It's IU, like, I need that Christian structure. And I see a guy that I swear to goodness looks just like my brother. And I was like, holy cow, I run up to him. And I don't know if he's here. Jonathan? Are you here? Yeah, Jonathan?
I seen him.
He might have left. But he looked just like David. And I thought it was David. I walk up, oh, no. And then we talk, and he tells me some information, and I see him later, and he's a really strong Christian. He connects me with the Christian community at Bloomington. They actually came up today. I think they might have left a little earlier. But it was just, it's really cool how God's just working there and in Fort Wayne, and I get to hang out with them, and they're on fire for God. And so within the last couple of weeks, I would say, being really connected with a Christian missionary, Christian group at IU has been really impactful. And I mean, there's young Christians on fire for God everywhere. It's just where do we go to find them? And so, you know, I want to give a shout out to my roommate up there, Abu, over there. That's my guy. Asba, friends that came up here together. We have a very close bond. They're all just very blessed by God, and they're awesome, and the real friends right there. So God surrounded me with real friends in a place that really the devil's just going around tearing up young people and, you know, getting them addicted to drugs and so on. And, you know, I love connecting with family again, but going down to IU, that's where the mission field is. So don't forget to pray for college campuses, because, you know, God needs to do a work in college campuses. There's a lot of kids with anxiety, depression, so many different demonic attacks that are always, they're just always under oppression. I mean, I was walking around yesterday, and I hear so many kids just, you know, drunk talk, you would call it, but talking about how they're, you know, so sad and depressed and suicidal and all this. And I'm like, holy cow, like, you know, somebody needs to show them the love of Christ. You know, just give them a hug, you know, tell them I love you. But just don't forget to pray for college campuses.
Amen. Amen.
Wow, that was amazing. You know, when you look at all the change that all these people in front of you have, like, you know, really gone through, it kind of like, you just get, like, it's so overwhelming, you know? And all it took was somebody to, like, come into our situation and our circumstance and talk to us, you know? Reach us where we're at, not where we go, you know? Like, so many people want to, like, I feel like every time I went to church, someone was trying to reach out to me, and I feel like they didn't understand me, you know? Like, you don't understand, like, what we go through, you know? A lot of people here go through a lot of things that, like, most people don't like, can't understand, you know, even if you're in that circumstance. And, you know, Ali took that, you know, Ali came to our house, you know, it was a mistake, actually. He wasn't supposed to be there. And then, yeah, Ali came to our house, you know, and, like, he caught us, like, you know, we were actually kind of intoxicated while he was there, you know? That's how deep it was. And
he found us there and he changed us. And he went in there. He didn't like condemn us, you know.
Amen.
He had the right to condemn us.
Amen.
And that's like a really. I don't want to talk too much about like about all that, but you can see all the change that we've all been through, and I really like. Also, like I want to talk to like people that like if you're a parent and you have a kid that's going through something, or like that you feel like you can't reach or you're praying against, or you even have a friend or like a brother or sister. I feel like reaching them at where they're at, you know, instead of like telling them what they're doing wrong, like, cause at the end of the day, like we're so foolish, yo. Like, I like what I think Baru said that. He's like, we have a lot to learn, yo. Like, you know, that's one thing that like Pastor Ali taught me is that like no matter how much you think you know, you really don't know that much. Like, you really don't, you know. And we have so much to learn, and we're all young right here. We obviously have a lot to learn. But Ali always tells me I have a lot to learn, you know? And that's kind of like, you need to have that concept because we're getting our teaching from Jesus and not from like anyone else.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. I want to ask you, you have a lot of parents here, so I just give you a chance to ask any kind of question. Just let me give you a chance. And then if you have a, like, you know, college student, university student, friend, they ask them anything, they can answer for you. We try our best. Because our goal, the reason we call you for this conference, to reach young, is a lot of depression, a lot of suicide. You don't know what, and the first time, I remember, come on, Z, come on. The first time when I met Z, he almost died by drug. And then when I saw him, he just rejected the gospel. He said, I don't want it, like, just go. And then I tell him, I love you, brother. And then God just tried touching his heart. Now as he's saying, you don't never see his face, like his face is like, it's even God is just changed his skin.
Amen.
So, really, the way I'm just come from Africa, okay? The only thing we know this drug is like, we call kaya, weed, and also what we know is art, and then alcohol, that's it. When I came a real hell, man, in here.
Yeah.
So totally is different.
Yeah.
So when I saw them, these guys, the first thing God just touched me, and then feel their feeling. I start crying. I never had the experience they have. I have like 15 years boy, 12, and then I have a lot of kids. I have 4 kids, guys. So I never thought, I mean, when you see them, they are rebellious, and then you want to judge. You don't know how they suffer.
Yes.
You don't know how their pain. Guys, you have to feel their feeling.
Yes.
It's not about judging people.
Yes.
Who are you after all?
Amen.
We are here by the grace of God.
Yes.
So, I mean, when I see, like, and the first time when I met Baba, like, I mean, man, I told him, the first thing, I don't speak his language. We speak the same language, but I can't understand. You know what I mean? I don't. So my African English, so like saying, hey man, can you tell me like some different language if you can, Amharic, like. Anyways, the point is not the language, it's a demon. So give a chance for kids. Don't give up.
Yeah.
There is God in heaven.
Yeah.
He will hear your prayer.
Yes.
So pray for your young one. Don't give up. Don't give up. Hallelujah. We believe God will give us this nation. So let me give you a chance. Don't be quiet. I know what's going on in your family. Just say something. If you have any question, let me give you. Can I give the first person by anything if you want to ask? Please, come on, Aforik. Yeah, just say something.
I just want to tell that I'm taking
Come on,
story.
come on.
It's okay, I think you can hear me. I'm taken by your stories, and there could be a lot of us in here that could relate to what you guys have gone through. I myself has been into your situation. And my question, I think, Alpha, you've answered my question, was if you can tell a parent here, I have 2 kids, 5 and 7. I can tell you, I'm thinking today, how are they going to be reacting when they get to your level, your age? I can tell you, I'm very worried. I'm very worried. But my question to you is, if you have to tell a parent one thing today, what would that be? How do you want us to react to our kids? I want to tell you one thing. What you guys have gone through is for a reason. You guys are the next generation. You guys are the next leaders. What you've gone through is a lesson for you so you can teach the next generation. It's all about next generation. I'm worried about next generation. And you guys are a testimony to that. I want to tell you one thing. You've tasted the love of God.
Yep.
One testimony that I've heard from my brother here is clear and crisp. He didn't know. That's the reality. That's the truth. That's the power of God. He didn't know what was going on. That homeless guy, when it was manifested in him. That is the truth. That's the reality. We think that is false. We think that is not true. It is true. Believe me, it is true. So I wanted to advise you, what you've tasted so far is true. And continue to have it. You can make impact in the next generation. I'm serious. And if you can tell the parents here, for us, how we can lead our kids, prepare them for the next leadership, the next generation, please.
I can answer that for you.
I feel like we all have like an answer to that. The one thing that you said, I feel like is like, as Christians, you know, like we know that, you know, our like your children is God's, you know, and they belong to God. But you need to understand that like they really don't belong to you at all, you know. Like that's actually really like a hard thing to understand, is that they don't belong to you. And the more you try to like control them, you know, it's just like it's like being in a relationship with somebody or being married to somebody, you know. Like you feel like that person is kind of like, I feel like in my experience, I'm not married obviously, but I feel like, you know, you feel like you own that person, you know, or like you're responsible for that person, but you're really not. And that can be really hard at being a parent, because you do raise that person, you know, especially if you're raising a Christian home. And that can be really hard to understand, but it's like you need to understand that kid's not yours. And the more you try to control that person, is that like that's when they drift away more, you know. And that's really like, I know it sounds simple, but it's really profound, and we do that in so many ways that we don't really realize it. So yeah.
One thing, the thing is, this in the past, Saba was at our house because Alpha's eyes were hurting, and growing up, Saba has been kind of like a mother to me and my brother. Man, did we get away with a lot of stuff. Okay, we'd climb out the window, go places. I got pretty good at trying to figure out ways to get through the cracks. My parents did a really good job of, you know, trying to instill God in me, but I lived a double life for so long. And that's a lot of kids. Like, we will be you know, you'll be in the youth group, and you'll be hanging out with everybody, but then you'll be different when you're at school. That was me for so long. And my parents put every measurement in place, even had my phone tapped. They could see where I was at any time. They would get every message that I would receive and that I would send. My iPad, it didn't even have Safari or Google. It had this thing called MobiSip. It would record all my history. I'm not lying to you. I'd have to ask my mom and dad if I could go places. The only place we were really allowed to go to was Saba's house. And when we get to Saba's house, we would be doing wild things, and I would try to figure out, you know, Dad, you know, he knows we're here, we're watching this movie, so I gotta watch the trailer so I can tell him enough about this movie so then he wouldn't ask, you know? So your kids will figure out a way to get through the cracks.
Yes.
But you know, the biggest thing for me was, I had this conviction when Saba was with us, when Alpha's eyes were hurting. I'm like, great, Saba's coming, put the bottles away. Hey, spray, you know, clean up the house real quick. Saba would come in. Every one time she found a bottle in I put it in the freezer, you know? They asked about it and we were like, oh no, what? Somebody must have brought it here. We did such a really good job. And that's what happens in a lot of homes. But the crazy thing was, she would believe us every time we'd say something. And I would walk in after, you know, going to a party, coming home extremely late. I'd see her praying there. I would leave early in the morning, go to practice. I would see her praying there. I'm like, what are you praying about? You're always praying for us, praying for her sons, but she's always praying. I was like, what? Like, all right, you can keep praying. I mean, really, nothing's really changing. But no, you just get convicted, and it just eats you alive. And so my advice is, pray for your kids.
Yeah.
Right? You could do a lot of things controlling them, but I promise you, they're going to get away with a lot of things. They're going to find ways to get through them. The more you suppress somebody, the more they're going to find ways to just push that off. So pray for your kids. I ask Saba, me and her, we sit down, we have some really good conversations. I mean, I just tell her everything, because I don't really care. She's my mother. And I would sit there and I'd be like, how the heck do you not know what we were doing? But you're over here believing us. She's like, oh, okay, you said it. But she would just take it up to God. You know, she wasn't, hey, like, we're going to punish, I'm going to punish you, or this or that. She just allowed God. Just took what we had, gave it to God. I'm not lying to you. It's so powerful. And 6 months ago, or a year ago, I would have been like, yeah, that's stupid. But let me tell you the truth. This is because of her prayers, and my parents' prayers, and other prayers. So pray to God. If you believe in God, He's going to answer your prayers. So pray to Him and take your children.
Amen. Amen.
Here, no, they have a question. Sorry.
Hi guys, I have a question that me and Lydia have two friends, and they're not Christian, they're Muslims, and what they're going through in school, in their family, and what happened back, they're going through really hard stuff, and we're trying to help them, like, show them the love of God. Then how we're supposed to be doing that.
Well, okay, yeah. I have a lot of Muslim friends, like you guys know, right? I have a lot of Muslim friends, and there's a lot of times I wished I've told them about God when I had the chance, because I remember one time one of my friends was like, bro, like he told me he's like the leader of their mosque or something, told me he had a curse on him, you know, and he was like, he told me to eat this candy or something and it's gonna go away and it's not working for me. And something inside of me was like, tell him about Jesus, tell him about Jesus, tell him. I know it was God talking, you know, and I didn't tell him and I was so mad about it, you know. And I haven't really reached out to most of my Muslim friends, but they know how I act and they know how I am. Like from all of my friends, I'm the guy that would ask for money, you know. I'm the guy that would ask for a ride or for a favor. Like, you gotta act like Christ, and then they'll open up to you. You know what I'm saying? If they see, yeah, like, and they see me, I'm not, you know, right? Everybody wants to be like me because I'm always just chilling and always having a great time while everybody out there is being messed up to each other, being, you know, unfair to each other and not doing the right things to each other, you know, and they're like, Elroy, I want to be like you, bro. You know, Elroy's my friend. You know, I am their friend more than their cousins, you know, they trust me more than their cousins. So what I would advise you to do is, you know, I know reaching out to them is hard, like telling them, hey, this is not the way and this is the way, you know what I'm saying? You gotta act like Christ-like. Act like Christ, you know, and then they're gonna want that, you know. That's what I'm praying for, and we gotta pray for them as well too. I'm praying for my friends, and I know they see the difference in my life, and I know, like, they always hit me up, you know. One of them just FaceTimed me. He's like, bro, like, you know, I want to move in with you. I want to do what you're doing, you know.
And like, eventually I'm gonna tell them that it's not me. I'm not doing nothing for myself, you know. It's like I'm literally just following God, you know. I'm literally just following Jesus, and He's the guy who's really leading me. Because like I don't really know. I don't know where I'm doing, you know. I don't know where to go. So I'm following Jesus. So I would advise you to pray for them. That's number one. And number two is you can't be the one, the reason why they're not going to Christ. So you have to take that role, and you have to be a good model. You know, you can't slip up. You can't do something wrong. You know, you gotta act like Christ. So that's the best.
Thank you, Father.
Amen.
It's powerful.
So, you know, coming from a Muslim background and stuff, I would say that, I mean, just because they don't believe in Christ doesn't mean that they don't believe in God. And just to explain to them that God is really, like, that's love. And even if they don't get that from the parents or, you know, the people that they think should love them the most, like, the only person that can really give that to them is God. And so just be what you can to them, like listen to them and advise them the way that you can, but also share what you believe, and just pray for them that, you know, you can't give somebody a feeling, but just pray that God gives them that feeling.
Amen.
So, any question? Okay. You have answer?
Where's she at? She's gone. Huh? She's gone? Okay.
She went straight to it.
One of the things, like, I love all the responses Laura was talking about. I feel like one of the most important things is that you need to understand that Muslim people are just like anybody else.
Yeah.
And that, like, the most important thing is you have to develop a relationship and a friendship with that person. And that's the most important thing, I feel like, before you can tell them about Christ, is like, they need to feel that you're genuine. You're not trying to sell them something because you believe in it, right? You're trying to sell them something because that's what's actually changing you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's your life. And they can see that change, and they can see all of that coming, radiating from you to everybody else. And it needs to be genuine, because they can easily see a fake.
Yeah.
They've lived seeing fake people, you know? Like practicing what they don't, like preaching what they don't practice what they preach, basically, and they don't do what they say you should do, you know? They put all these high, like, loads on your neck, right? But no one really does it. So they can see a faker. Don't be fake, like Baba said, and be genuine, and develop a genuine friendship with them. Don't try to sell them something.
Amen.
Any question? Okay. Praise God. Okay. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Saba, the one they keep saying, and no, I have a text message from a doctor talking about, she called me just like 10 minutes ago, and I told her where I am, and she told me to give you a prayer request. The prayer request, what she said is from Mexico. She told me it's from Mexico. It has a small drug. It's smaller than this. It can kill 25,000 kids. It's a drug. She said she already bear almost